Coming up on the Long Island Business Report, a woman with one of the toughest jobs on the island, managing the Long Island Railroad.
I couldn't do it without the workforce that I have. And without those employees, we could not perform on a regular basis, bringing those customers, into work every day and back home at night, or recover from these climate events we've had.
We talked to Long Island Railroad President Helena Williams about the future of one of the busiest commuter railroads in North America.
We've got to be able to move people locally. We have to prove to new employers who want to locate here that they'll have the flexibility to get around Long Island.
It's all straight ahead on this edition of the Long Island Business Report.
Funding for this program has been made possible by Charlotte and David Eckert and the Roush Foundation. And now, from Molloy College at the Madison Theater, here's Jim Paymar with the Long Island Business Report.
Hello, and thank you for being with us. I'm Jim Paymar with the Long Island Business Report. In this edition, we look at the Long Island Railroad, one of the most heavily used mass transit systems in the United States. And while the system carries hundreds of thousands of commuters on a daily basis, those who rely on its service know far too well the troubles confronting the LIRR. Joining me today is Helena Williams. She is the president of the MTA Long Island Railroad to discuss the challenges of operating the railroad, and she gives us an idea of what the future holds for its customers. Helena, thank you so much for being with us. You've been described as being a person who has the toughest job on Long Island. We have a huge system here, 700 miles of track, a $1.7 billion budget, 300,000 people use the trains every day. How do you keep it going? And give us your overview of how we're doing.
Well, first I have to say it is a fabulous job. I always tell everyone Long Island Railroad is my dream job. So Jim, thank you for inviting me here today and giving me the opportunity to talk about it. The next thing I always say after I say it's my dream job is that I couldn't do it without the workforce that I have. Mm-hmm. I have over 6,000 dedicated employees who do an outstanding job. It's that dedication and commitment to railroading. Sometimes it actually runs in families. We will have an employee whose grandfather and father worked at the railroad. There's just a great sense of dedication and commitment to our rail operation. And without those employees, we could not perform on a regular basis, bringing those customers, into work every day and back home at night, or recover from these climate events we've had.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've had a series of problems over a long period of time with the Long Island Railroad, and it's an old train service. It was established, back in the 1830s?
Yes.
And it feels that way sometimes, especially when you're going through Jamaica or some of the other track areas that are not so stable. How are we going to make the Long Island Railroad fit for the 21st century?
Well, we're in the process of modernizing right now, and one of the most important projects that will transform the Long Island Railroad, and I call it our moonshot, is the service to East Side Access, which will bring trains to Grand Central Terminal on the east side of Manhattan. So with that service, we will have 2 Manhattan terminals. It will provide a tremendous increase in the amount of service that we can offer, giving customers a choice as to which terminal they want to go to. Do they want to go to Penn Station? Do they want to go to the new Grand Central facility? Mm-hmm. And it allows customers to choose from their home station. So we'll have enough train service for them to make that selection. And giving customers choice is what will attract new customers to the Long Island Railroad. Now, in order to get ready for East Side Access, we have a host of projects that I think will help give the customer the feel that we are modernizing the railroad.
Like?
Jamaica capacity improvement.
Okay.
Everyone talks about Jamaica, unless of course you live on the Port Washington branch and you don't go through Jamaica.
Right.
And there are people who buy homes on the Port Washington branch just so that they don't have to go through Jamaica. So Jamaica needs our love and attention. Mm-hmm. There are 155 switches in Jamaica that were laid down over 100 years ago by Pennsylvania Railroad. We don't need all 155. We don't use all 155, and we shouldn't be trying to maintain 155 switches.
When do we see a fix on that, though? Because
We are-
Jamaica, everyone hates Jamaica. You hear the name and you go, oh my.
Jamaica. And I'm aware of that. And we have what's known as the Jamaica Crawl, where the trains that
I
don't
know.
stop in Jamaica actually creep
And
through.
the lights go off.
Right.
So
So we're in the midst of remaking Jamaica. Now, nothing's fast in railroading, and one of the reasons it's not fast is I still have to run train service while I make the changes. So we're going to do a multi-year phased approach. First thing we have to do is bring in another platform, and then we're going to put in what's known as high-speed switches. Now, I don't want to give the impression that you'll suddenly be going 80 miles an hour through Jamaica. You won't.
Yeah.
But we'll be able to do better than the 5 miles that we currently crawl through, or the 10 or 15 miles.
what time horizon are we talking about?
We look for Eastside Access to be open in 2019, and we are making these improvements so that we will be ready for 2019. So we will start phasing out some of the switches in Jamaica. We'll do some switches after 2019, but some key ones will be done before, and we'll have that new platform.
So we still have 6 years to wait before we can go to Grand Central.
We do.
Yeah.
But it will be worth it, Jim. It will be a fabulous facility with new services.
You know, the Long Island Index came out with some information and talked about how it's going to increase home values on Long Island, the East Side Access, that now it's going to become more attractive to live on Long Island because now you can get into Manhattan to the places that you want to go on the East Side, where, you know, before you have to go to Penn Station, you have to shuttle back. That's a very difficult process.
Wasn't that a great study?
Yeah.
I was so pleased when the index picked Long Island Railroad to study. They did a great report, and you are correct. They came out with an analysis, and they were joined by the Regional Plan Association, that said if you are walking distance from a Long Island Railroad station, so a local community walking distance, your home value will be $11,000 greater. If you are within 2 miles of a railroad station, your home value will be $7,300 more. That's
right.
just,
We all
that's
like
great
that.
advertising for me.
We all like that, and especially with housing prices dropping over the last 5 or 6 years, any help we can get would be much appreciated. There are some other advancements that the Long Island Railroad is talking about, the fast track and the third track. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Absolutely. Track capacity really adds to the reliability of the system. It adds to your ability to increase frequency of service. And we have a couple of segments that we need track capacity expansion. The first one that we are working on is Ronkonkoma to Farmingdale. We have a single track operation out to Ronkonkoma, and that's our main line. We need 2 tracks on our main line. So from Farmingdale to Ronkonkoma, we're going to put in a second track.
20 miles?
Roughly 18
miles? Yeah.
About 5 of it actually already has the second track because it's at stations. But the remaining about 12.7 miles, I need to ensure we have 2 tracks. Ronkonkoma is one of our fastest growing areas over the last 25 years. From the moment they electrified to Ronkonkoma in 1988, there were more customers than we could handle.
Right. Speaking of customers, we had a peak at about, 2007, 2008, where
Yes.
you were serving more customers than ever before in the history of the Long Island Railroad.
Well, at least since 1944.
Okay,
It was
all right,
since
pre-war.
right, pre-war. That was what our records show.
But after the financial collapse, we started to see a decline when there were fewer jobs in New York and fewer jobs out on the island. But you've been picking up again until Sandy.
Yes.
So where do we stand now? Are we back on track, so to speak, in terms of picking up new passengers?
That's our goal, and we're watching ridership very carefully. We were at an all-time peak in 2008 with 87 million customers. When the recession hit, it really did hit Long Island, and the job loss and opportunities for our customer base really changed. So we've made it through this recession. We've seen jobs return. We've seen journey to work trips return. And we really had a very good year starting at the end of 2011 all through 2012, except when we got to Sandy.
Yep.
We saw ridership growth bringing us back, 81 million customers. Sandy hit, and of course, Long Island was disrupted.
Right, beyond that, Metro North now has surpassed Long Island Railroad as the #1 commuter railroad in the country. Is that correct?
That is correct. Long Island Railroad was, historically the largest commuter rail operation. Metro North, a fine operation. I want to compliment, the way they operate. They enjoy the benefits from New York Central's history. I always laugh. They were two rival railroads, Pennsylvania Railroad, New York Central.
Right.
New York Central built a lot of track capacity. There are many places where there are 4 tracks, 3 tracks, which allows them to run really frequent, dense service. Long Island Railroad, while it covered a tremendous stretch on Long Island, did not build out, Pennsylvania Railroad did not build out that track structure.
Okay, but one thing that they did do at Metro North, which you're talking about doing here on Long Island, is building those extra tracks, which helped revitalize places like White Plains. I mean, White Plains is a
Exactly.
different city now than it used to be.
And they have a reverse commuting opportunity, Jim,
Right.
which is fabulous. You see people leaving the city to go to White Plains and New Rochelle for jobs, and then they return, reverse commute, back to the city at home. Now, we need a 3rd track on Long Island, sometimes dubbed a fast track.
Right.
From Floral Park to Hicksville, we desperately need a 3rd track to allow for a robust reverse commute. Right now, because most of our customers do want to go into Manhattan in the morning and out at night, we have limited reverse commute service.
Yeah, and I've watched, I used to work at CNBC in Fort Lee, and I watched that Jersey coast develop from basically nothing to having, it's like a Gold Coast now. And part of the reason they built back office space for New York City corporations that didn't want to pay those hefty fees in Manhattan. Why haven't we gotten a chunk of that action? And is the Long Island Railroad a linchpin to getting people to come back out here, build back office out on Long Island?
That's a very good question. A lot of companies did relocate back office operations, particularly after 9/11, and they set up alternative locations. Jersey City was a tremendous, second location that built up. Nassau and Suffolk County did not see a increase in their commercial real estate based on those relocations. They could not attract the companies to Long Island. And a lot of organizations spend time thinking about, well, why is that? Why aren't we progressing as an employer location? Which, of course, I would love to have for reverse commuting.
And that would come around the train station hubs themselves.
Exactly. And we call that transit-oriented development. We'd like to have a more robust commute in both directions. Even intra-island commutation. That's one of the reasons why I look at the Farmingdale to Ronkonkoma segment as so important, because we could link up to Route 110, which is really a commercial
Major employer.
spine.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when will that segment be done?
Well, we need funding for that.
Yeah.
Right now, I have $138 million for the first segment, which we're designing the whole thing, and we're building the first segment, which is Ronkonkoma to Central Islip. The MTA, our oversight organization, our parent company, works in 5-year capital program increments. So the next capital program negotiations will take place in 2014 for a program that covers 2015 to 2019. So I've got to get the last chunk of money for that double track in that program.
And where is that money coming from? I mean, I know there's a fare hike, and a lot of people are very unhappy about it. That's one thing that they're saying boo about, Helena.
I understand
8 to
it.
9% on top of a $250 a month ticket. That's a big chunk of change. But is this money going to really? Are we going to see it in terms of improvement?
Well, when we do make capital investments, I think our customers do get direct benefits. And we need capital investment for state of good repair so that we, keep the track structure, all, according to its dimensions and geometry that we need to run safe operations. We do bridge repairs, but separate from that, we need the capital dollars to make investment. And double track and third track are those investments.
And that 8 to 9% that people are paying extra now for their tickets, are they going to see that? Are they going to see tangible results? Are they going to see physical upgrades so that their service is better, more on time, more trains, better trains?
Well, I agree with you. Our customer base, clearly wants to see more train service. In fact, we just rolled out some additional train service, which is terrific for our customers. We added half-hourly service from Ronkonkoma from about 9 to noon into the city. The same half-hourly service on the way home in the evening for off-peak improvements. We were able to restore the West Hempstead service. In 2010, as part of the whole, recession and fiscal crisis that we were in, we had to have a number of service reductions. So we're just so pleased that we've been able to restore some of those services. And we're not back everywhere where we should be pre-2010 cuts, but we're going to get there. I have to just separate operating dollars from capital dollars. Operating dollars do fund the train service, so a fare increase that our customers unfortunately have to face contributes toward the operating budget. The capital budget is something that comes right out of Albany. And they're always looking for, ways in which you fund that capital budget, and it covers New York City subway, buses, Metro North, Long Island Railroad, and different ideas have been brought up in the past. You've heard of congestion pricing, for example, and tolling the East River bridges, all as means to develop revenue to fund the capital program.
These are not cheap projects, any of them.
Exactly.
One thing I've got to ask you about, which I think bugged a lot of Long Islanders, was that whole disability scandal where, ex-Long Island Railroad employees were automatically almost getting a disability pension, I guess it would be called, to the tune of $1 billion in losses. How did that happen?
Jim, I have to tell you, I joined the railroad 5.5 years ago. I was there just a few months when I was getting some questions, actually from some student journalists about the disability pensions that are awarded by the Railroad Retirement Board, an arm of the federal government. And I said, well, gee, I got to look into this. I said to the journalists, these young students, I will be back to you. And boy, I did my homework fast. And what they were suggesting was, in fact, true, that many employees at a disproportionately higher rate would complete 30 years of employment, get a full service pension from the Long Island Railroad, and in a short time, right after leaving us as a healthy retiree, file for a federal disability benefit with the Railroad Retirement Board. And we began to question, well, what's the basis for the award of those disability benefits? And is the Railroad Retirement Board looking at the true medical condition of the employee? So a lot of work has been done to really correct that situation.
Yeah, that's $1 billion. I mean, think of what you could do with $1 billion right now. And what about clawback? Can you get any of that money back?
We are working, and actually, it's really the U.S. Attorney.
I see.
We cooperate with the U.S. Attorney's Office. We supply the information, but he is, pursuing prosecution. And in that prosecution, he certainly is looking for restitution recovery.
Okay. Switching gears, parking. Big problem for the railroad. If you want to get people to ride the trains, you've got to allow them places to park. Now, if you are not at the parking lot at about 7 to 8 o'clock you can be out of luck in many of our stations. Is anything being done to correct that situation?
I am very focused on the parking issue because as we do the double track and attract more customers and have the Eastside Access service, we're trying to get cars off the road and people on our trains. But they still need to take their little station car and find parking. So we are examining very carefully where we can do structured parking. These are very important investments that we make. And in fact, Wyandanch, which is the site of the Wyandanch Rising Project, which will bring new, what we call transit-oriented development right to the station. New housing, new commercial development needs new parking to complement that. So we actually did a swap of land with the town of Babylon and Suffolk County. And they are going to be able to build a little closer to the station. They've given me a very large parcel. We're going to do intermodal structured parking on that location.
Do you get pushback from communities on that? Because, there's this feeling that many communities don't want parking, high-rise parking ramps. They want to keep a low-level suburban feel, when really we're pretty much an urban area out here, especially in Nassau County.
Right. I mean, I think that was an older mindset. Maybe in the 80s, in the 90s, we began doing some structured parking. In the 2000s, I get the requests. Helena, come in, do structured parking.
Right.
We have limited funds for it. We have to do it where the parking is additive. We never use it as replacement parking. It has to be additive.
I see.
But I have to compliment Mineola. The village of Mineola, they were just outstanding partners in supporting the parking facility that's there.
Sure.
Now, when first completed, you could find parking midday still. You go there now, just as you said, by 8 o'clock it's full.
Right.
Now we designed that facility to be able to take 2 more levels.
So you can build onto
we can
it.
go back in and add. They're almost like Lego sets, only you got to think big concrete.
What about rolling stock? Are we ever going to see, some of the trains are still pretty old. We've got some rolling stock that must date back 30, 40 years.
About 35 years, those M3s are due for replacement.
M3s.
That's what we call them, the M3s, the multiple unit third design. We, in fact, have a rolling stock plan, and it complements Eastside Access because, of course, we will need new cars to provide all the new service when we get to 2019. We also have those older M3 cars, about 170 of them. We are in the process now of doing a replacement. And, of course, cars cost a lot of money, so we do them in chunks, and we do them over a couple of years. But we're very excited. Just like when you buy a new car, there's always a lot of excitement for your
Smell
new
the leather.
Exactly, a new automobile. Rolling stock purchases for us give us a chance to really excite the customer with something new.
Absolutely.
And we also try to correct problems. I love the M7s. They've been a great performer. They're a terrific car. But we've had a lot of ripped pants seats.
Just real quickly, is there a way that we can go north-south? Are there any plans to, the railroad goes east-west essentially into New York City. That's why it was built. What about north-south? Any possibility of linking so that people don't have to use their cars here? I mean, we're flooded with cars.
Jim, that has been one of the big struggles on Long Island. Route 110, that's an ideal location for better north-south mass transit, whether it's bus rapid transit or light rail. But there are other key corridors. The Coliseum, there'll be a big decision as to what happens now that the Islanders are leaving, what type of development goes there, what type of north-south mass transportation options should exist. Now, I'm the first to say you can't bring heavy rail into local neighborhoods. But are there other, transit systems
Light
that would
rail
be
trolley.
beneficial? Exactly.
I saw a map. We used to have a trolley system here. They cut it out in the 1920s. I mean, it was a long time ago, before our generation. But we have so many opportunities. I think connecting these hubs, these transportation hubs, intermodal transportation is the future of Long Island. We just cannot continue to choke on cars.
Exactly.
And
We've got to be able to move people locally. We have to prove to new employers who want to locate here that they'll have the flexibility to get around Long Island.
right, and young people, they don't even want cars half the time, and I don't blame them.
Isn't that one of the most amazing differences? When you and I grew up, the first thing we
16?
wanted to do,
16, I was in my car.
and we wanted to buy a car with
Yeah.
all our summer savings.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Well, listen, Helena, it was great speaking with you and learning a little bit more about the LIRR, and we hope that you have great success in the future so that we all have easier rides both into the city and back out to Long Island. Thanks a lot for being with us. And that wraps up our conversation on the Long Island Railroad. Thank you, Helena Williams, for being here with us at the Madison Theater at Molloy College. For more on the Long Island Business Report, log on to our website. You can also find us on Facebook and join the conversation on Twitter. I'm Jim Paymar. Thank you for joining us for this edition of the Long Island Business Report, and we'll see you next time.
Funding for this program was made possible by Charlotte and David Eckert and the Roush Foundation.